Ikigai Part 1: The Art of Staying Young While Growing Old. What is your reason for being? According to the Japanese, everyone has an ikigai, what a French philosopher might call a raison d'etre. Some people have found their ikigai, while others are looking, though they carry it within them. Our ikigai is hidden deep inside each of us, and finding it requires a patient search. According to those born on Okinawa, the island with the most centenarians in the world, our ikigai is the reason we get up in the morning. Whatever you do, don't retire. Having a clearly defined ikigai brings satisfaction, happiness, and meaning to our lives. The purpose of this book is to help you find yours and to share insights from Japanese philosophy on the lasting health of body, mind, and spirit. One surprising thing you notice living in Japan is how active people remain after they retire. In fact, many Japanese people never really retire. They keep doing what they love for as long as the health allows. There is, in fact, no word in Japan that means retire in the sense of leaving the workforce for good, as in English. According to Dan Buettner, a National Geographic reporter who knows the country well, having a purpose in life is so important in Japanese culture that our idea of retirement simply does not exist there. The island of almost eternal youth. Certain longevity studies suggest that a strong sense of community and a clearly defined ikigai are just as important as the famously healthful Japanese diet, perhaps even more so. Recent medical studies of centenarians from Okinawa and other so-called blue zones, the geographic regions where people live longest, provide a number of interesting facts about these extraordinary human beings. Not only do they live much younger than the rest of the world's population, they also suffer from fewer chronic illnesses such as cancer, heart disease, inflammatory disorders, and are also less common. Many of these centenarians enjoy enviable levels of vitality and health that would be unthinkable for people of advanced age elsewhere. Their blood tests reveal fewer free radicals as a result of drinking tea and eating until their stomachs are only 80% full. Women experience more moderate symptoms during the menopause, and both men and women maintain higher levels of sexual hormones until much later in life. The rate of dementia is very low compared to the global average. Though we will consider each of these findings over the course of the book, research clearly indicates that Okinawans' focus on ikigai gives a sense of purpose to each and every day and plays an important role in the health and longevity. The 5 blue zones. Okinawa holds the first place amongst the world's blue zones. In Okinawa, women in particular live longer and have fewer diseases than anywhere else in the world. The 5 regions identified and analyzed by Dan in his book The Blue Zones are Okinawa, Japan; Sardinia, Italy; Loma Linda, California; the Nicoya Peninsula, Costa Rica; Icaria, Greece. In the following chapters, we will examine several factors that seem to be the keys to longevity and are found across the blue zones, paying special attention to Okinawa and its so-called village of longevity. First, however, it is worth pointing out that 3 of these regions are islands, where resources can be scarce and communities have to help one another. For many, helping others might be an ikigai strong enough to keep them alive, according to scientists who have studied the 5 blue zones. The keys to longevity are diet, exercise, finding a purpose in life, and forming strong social ties, that is, having a broad circle of friends and good family relations. Members of these communities manage their time well in order to reduce stress, consume little meat or processed food, and drink alcohol in moderation. They don't do strenuous exercises, but they do move every day, taking walks and working in their vegetable gardens. People in the blue zones would rather walk than drive. Gardening, which involves daily low-intensity movements, is a practice almost all of them have in common. The 80% secret. One of the most common saying in Japan is Hara Hachi Bu, which is repeated before or after eating and means something like fill your belly to 80%. Ancient wisdom advises against eating until we are full. This is why Okinawans stop eating when they feel their stomachs reach 80% of their capacity rather than overeating and wearing down their bodies with long digestive processes that accelerate cellular oxidation. Of course, there is no way to know objectively if your stomach is at 80% capacity. The lesson to learn from this saying is that we should stop eating when we start feeling full. The extra side dish, the snack we eat when we know in our hearts we don't really need it, the apple pie after lunch, all these will give us pleasure in short term, but not having them will make us more happier in the long term. The way food is served is also important. By presenting their meals on many small plates, the Japanese tend to eat less. A typical meal in a restaurant in Japan is served in 5 plates. On a tray, 4 of them very small and the main dish slightly bigger. Having 5 plates in front of you makes it seem like you are going to eat a lot. But what happens most of the time is that you end up feeling slightly hungry. This is one of the reasons why Westerners in Japan typically lose weight and stay trim. Recent studies by nutritionists reveal that Okinawans consume a daily average of 1800 to 1900 calories compared to 2200 and 3300 in the United States and have a body mass index between 18 and 22 compared to 26 or 27 in the United States. The Okinawan diet is rich in tofu, sweet potatoes, fish, and vegetables. In the chapter dedicated to nutrition, we will see which healthy antioxidant rich foods are included in this 80%. Maui, connected for life. It is customary in Okinawa to form close bonds within local communities. A moa is an informal group of people with common interests who look out for one another. For many servings, the community becomes part of their ikigai. The moa has its origin in hard times when farmers would get together to share best practices and help one another cope with meager harvests. Members of moa make a set of monthly contributions to the group. This payment allows them to participate in meetings, dinners, games of go and shogi, that is Japanese chess, or whatever hobby they have in common. The funds collected by the group are used for activities, but if there is money left over, one member receives a set amount from the surplus. In this way, being a part of MOA helps maintain emotional and financial stability. If a member of MOA is in financial trouble, he or she can get an advance from the group's savings, while the details of each MOA accounting practices vary accordingly to the group and its economic means. The feeling of belonging and support gives the individuals a sense of security and helps increase life expectancy. Following this brief introduction to the topics covered in this book, we will look at few causes of premature aging in modern life and then explore different factors related to Ikigai.